Today we are flying on Tunisia's second largest airline, which stole my food and still owes me $15. But this is also the very first video of my grand African aviation tour, starting in Istanbul today, flying Nouvelair. After a few days in Tunis, I'm gonna take a trip on the channel's favorite airline, Tunisian, all the way to Conakry. But I was very happy to leave Guinea, which was probably the most unfriendliest country I've ever visited. The journey continued on the flag carrier of Mauritania, a plane falling apart and infested with cockroaches, and fellow passengers dumping their food on me. A true highlight on this Africa adventure. After a short visit to Senegal, I finally got to try A-Sky Airlines, the undisputed budget king of the Black Continent, taking me to Cabo Verde, a beautiful island nation, and a great place to take a short break and to return to London on TUI to get ready to fly Africa's most feared and dangerous airline, the one and only Air Peace, to Nigeria. From Lagos, I'm taking a domestic flight to Kano on Rano Air's Embraer 145 before getting terribly food poisoned eating butter chicken at one of the country's worst hotels. With no time to recover, it was finally time to fly Ethiopian Airlines again, where I encountered a rogue Boeing 737 pilot, ignoring all safety rules and not really helping to restore faith in their safety record after the airline's 737 MAX crash in 2019, which gave serious doubts about the airline's commitment to safety. Once I arrived in Tanzania, I tried again to fly Air Zimbabwe's legendary 737-200, one of the last dedicated passenger ones in the world, a plane I have been chasing for years. Will I finally succeed? We shall find out. In Harare, I boarded the president's flight on Rwanda Air to Cape Town, an airline I haven't tried since 2019, with stunning views descending into Africa's most magical city. After a few days indulging in the Cape Townian lifestyle, it was time to put South African Airways reintroduced intercontinental service to a test, and a trip would end the way it started, with the captain stealing my food. So hit that subscribe button right now to not miss out on the once-in-a-lifetime African aviation adventure series. Trust me, it's absolutely worth it.
Thank you so much. Awesome. So guys, a beautiful good morning from Istanbul. Before you get post-traumatic stress about the airline you see in the back, don't worry, that's next week's video. Today we are flying the second largest airline of Tunisia, Nouvelair. It's an airline you wanted me to fly for a very long time, so let's do this and let's check in for a flight from Istanbul to Tunis. So flying to Tunisia has always been an adventure, at least on my channel. And what I always saw in the comments was, try Nouvelair. They aren't as bad. They're actually a great airline. So here I am, booked myself on a 2-hour flight from Istanbul to Tunis. So let's see which check-in area they use. Where are we? 950. R42. But, say the least, their call sign already won my heart. BJ. BJ 6412 Tunisia. Let's go, let's check in. And here we are, R42. Doesn't look too busy as of now. It's always a good sign, which means I might get my own row. So check-in is still not open yet, so I thought I'd treat myself to a nice latte and one of my favorite snacks in Turkey, simit. Brings back real good memories in 2009 when I came to Istanbul for the very first time to do my visa for Iran. So I was hitchhiking to Iran and I had to wait for my visa for like almost 10 days. So I'd always take the ferry because I was staying in the Asian side and the Iranian embassy is on the European side. So I would always take the ferry every day, and then on the ferry I have a little chai and a simit, and people who have been to Istanbul know how amazing the ferry ride is from Europe to Asia or vice versa. It's such a beautiful city. It's like a short ride. It's like 15 minutes, but it's so iconic. So here we are. Cheers. Definitely the fastest check-in experience of all my life, and I got row number 13A, 13, my lucky number. But because I think I'm too nice, I went there with too much energy. I was like, "Good morning, how are you?" He assigned me an exit row, which I usually don't like because it gets quite busy. I'd rather prefer to sit in the back so I can walk through the entire aisle, show you the cabin. But then it would also be mean to turn him down because he thought like, this guy is in such a good mood. At 6 a.m. he said good morning in the most loving way. Let's assign him a seat with extra leg room. Yeah, so it feels stupid when you say, no, sorry, I don't want it. So I take it. Here we are. Let's head to the gate. So I always love to call this Istanbul Airport Roulette, because when your gate is not shown yet, you have two choices. You either go to the B gates or to the F gates. But once you're at the B gates or F gates, it takes 20 minutes to get to the other side, or vice versa, you know. So it means a lot of workout. So you can either wait here and wait to see which gate you get assigned, or you take a gamble and you go to the B gate. But the problem is, if I go to the B gate, it's always going to be the F gate. When I go to the F gate, it's always going to be the B gate. So today, I'm just going to wait. So it says gate shown in 10 minutes, but I'm not the kind of person who can sit still for 10 minutes. So I'm going to take a gamble and I'm going to go to B gates. And the next clip will be me complaining that the flight was assigned to the F gates and how I have to walk 20 minutes. So get prepared. E3. Where is that? E3. I think it's also really far away. It's definitely the other side. So let's go. But good thing is, at 7:50 a.m. we get all our steps in. So I'm a little bit puzzled because I've never heard of the E-gates. Where are E-gates? E-gates. Find out. So while I'm on my way to the E-gates and my Apple Watch is literally asking me what I'm working out, I didn't know that Salt Bay has a restaurant here in Istanbul. Isn't he the biggest scam in history? I mean, among the biggest. Whew. So much walking here, so much walking. But we're almost there. And here we are, guys. I finally made it to the E-gates. Now let's turn this into a flight review. Plane is not here yet, though.
And there she is, one of the carrier's 11 Airbus A320-200s they are currently operating. The airline was founded 34 years ago under the name Air Liberté Tunisia and was later rebranded as Nouvelair. The airline focuses mainly on destinations in Europe as well as a daily service to Istanbul. Enough said, let's get on board.
Thank you.
All of their planes come in a standard all-economy configuration with 180 seats in total.
Hey, how are you? So guys, and here we are. Welcome on board Nouvelair. I hope that's the right way to pronounce it. First impression, it looks a lot nicer than anything I've ever seen on Tunis Air crew. Seems quite lovely as well. I scored the emergency row, as I mentioned in the beginning, with a lot of leg room, which is pretty nice. And so far, so good.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome on board Nouvelair flight number 641, operating to Tunis International Airport.
The flight was fully booked and the crew got to their safety briefing, and shortly after we were pushed back for our flight to Tunisia's capital. flight time was roughly 2 hours, and when I booked my flight you have the option to book a premium meal for roughly $15. So I thought, why not? That would be a great opportunity to showcase you what they look and especially taste like. However, things would turn out a little differently, so stay tuned.
So guys, we're a good half an hour into the flight, and to be honest, a bit disappointed to see that the meal that I pre-purchased, which you can when you book your flight online with Nouvelair, never arrived, and I was served the same meal like everybody else, which is a bit annoying and yeah, a bit of a scam as well. And now this will cost me a lot of time because I have to contact their customer service, tell them that the pre-purchased meal never arrived. Most likely it will take forever to get back. It will waste a lot of my time. Yeah, so when you book your flight online on Nouvelair, don't pre-purchase a meal because you will lose a lot of money and the food will most likely never arrive. But now let's dig in and let's see what this breakfast here tastes like.
I didn't know that Nouvelair provides regular meals as well, which is great, but in order to make this a complete review, I just wanted to try the option. When I asked the crew about the meal, they had no information regarding it and asked me to speak to customer services online. However, Nouvelair also has a menu on board where you can purchase extra snacks as well as alcoholic beverages.
I then called Nouvelair requesting for a refund for the meal that I've never received. They said they're going to work on it. It's been 3 months ever since. I haven't seen a single dollar. So if someone watching from Nouvelair, please a kind reminder that I'm still waiting for the money that you owe me. So my advice to you guys, if you fly Nouvelair, do not book any extra services. You might not receive them, which is most likely the case. In my case, a 100% failure rate. But yeah, I also followed up once, but until today, there was nothing.
As we slowly approached Tunisia, I made a new friend sitting next to me. We had a great conversation about current events, what life in Tunisia is like, and how everyone avoids Tunis Air in the country, saying how the national airline stands as a role model of a failed government entity full of corrupted people, something I've heard many times over the years. I also got a bit worried since I'm flagged in the immigration department after my previous video about the flag carrier. When I went to transit in 2021, I was met by law enforcement at the lounge and they demanded me to hand over my footage, which I refused. So let's see how it goes today. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Once I disembarked the plane, I made my way to immigration, and I was a little sad that my favorite airport cat didn't greet me this time as she did in 2021. However, I was also happy not to have met law enforcement as I also did in the same year. Luckily, it was all smooth sailing and I made my way to the hotel.
And here we are, welcome back to Tunisia, heading to the hotel now. We're going to give you a full summary of today's experience. So guys, here we are. Welcome to Tunisia. Staying here for a few days before
I continue to Conakry on Tunis Air. So subscribe right now if you don't want to miss out on that one. I'm sure it's going to be highly entertaining regardless of the outcome. But let's talk about Nouvelair. And I think the ground experience in Istanbul was top notch. The crew is lovely. You know, the cabin is in a good state if we compare it to Tunis Air, you know, because I mean, any cabin in the world looks great if you compare it to Tunis Air. And I don't want to turn this into Tunis Air bashing, but this is the comparison that we have to draw here. The safety consciousness of the crew is left a lot to be desired. You have to brief people at the emergency row. That didn't happen. Preparing for landing, not asking the passengers to put their tables up, especially in the emergency row. Those are really essential and important things, and I think the crew could brush up on a bit of a safety training. Also, the fact that I spent a lot of money and pre-ordered a meal, which I then in fact didn't receive, it's unacceptable, right? You can't offer that service on your website and then not deliver. I don't know whether it was not loaded or it was given to somebody else. I haven't seen it, I haven't received it. And now, look, what I would need to do now is email a customer service, call them or whatever. It wastes valuable time from my life that I could use for something else, you know, and that is not something you do, and it just creates such a headache. If you can't deliver, if you can't offer a promise that service that you sell, just don't do it, you know, or try to figure out where it was. That was rather disappointing. But other than that, it's a good airline. You know, I've seen worse, definitely. It is nothing outstanding, but it was solid. We left on time, we arrived on time. Everything was handled pretty decently. And I think this is it, guys. Also, check out my Patreon if you want to access some extra perks. Get my cool keyring here, like how cool that looks on your carry-on. Be part of my WhatsApp group, have early access to my video, know my schedule, which airline I'm flying next. All these extra information are available once you join my Patreon page. And yeah, next flight is Tunis Air, so hit that subscribe button right now and let me know in the comment section below, who do you prefer, Tunis Air or Nouvelair? I really want to know. This is it from my side. I'm gonna enjoy my time in Tunis now, and I'll see you guys next week. Oh, that's not good.